What is up, everybody? My name is Scott Waters. Welcome to No Life Till Metal. It's time for a rock metal update. That's right. Time for the first rock and metal update of 2017. These are records that I've acquired since Christmas till now. Most of them were Christmas presents or were acquired with gift certificates given during Christmas. So let me get right into it. First of all, what you're going to be listening to in the background is Count Raven, Storm Warning, mid-90s, doom metal, fantastic band, just in case anybody's wondering. First two bands up are a new wave of traditional heavy metal bands. This is Them. Them is a band that started off as a tribute to King Diamond and Merciful Fate, and with vocalists from Cold Steel, and they do a great job at it. This album is a full-length album. This is their first full-length album. Of course, the sound style is very similar to Merciful Fate and King Diamond. It even has the kind of ghost story kind of thing as King Diamond always had. I really think it's fantastic. I know some people are down on them because, you know, they're not coming up with their own style. Who cares? If a jazz artist plays jazz, you don't say, why are you playing jazz? Or, you know, you play metal because that's what you love. These guys love that King Diamond style of heavy metal, so that's what they're doing. They're creating their own sound, their own songs with that, you know, sound that they like and they enjoy so much. And I think they do a great job at it. I've heard some arguments online, who's better, Portrait or Them, both of them in a similar style. I like them both, so, you know, I don't really care. I just think there's two great bands doing that style of music. So there you go. Brand new album from Them. This is actually VCLT from Metal War God, Kevin Colehouse, who's been a friend of mine for 10 years running, and he has a Metal War God radio. I'll put a link below to Metal War God's VC channel on YouTube as well. Next up, we've got Spellcaster, another vinyl community member turned me on to these guys. Eric Dust, EJD715, if you're looking for his YouTube channel. He sent me a t-shirt of these guys and had been telling me how great they were for a while, and I just hadn't picked up anything from them. But now that I had a t-shirt, I couldn't wear it without being familiar with the music. Why would you wear a band shirt of a band you don't know, right? So it just gave me purpose and reason to finally check them out. And I didn't even go online to check them out. I just went ahead and bought this record. It was fairly inexpensive. Brand new, 2016 release on Prosthetic Records. I think it was a total of like $16 shipped, which is not bad at all. And this is very, very good stuff. You know, right along with bands like Striker and Enforcer and White Wizard and Ambush and Night Demon, you know, bands like that. Very, very good stuff. Clean vocals, galloping, memorable riffing, heavy drums. You know, it's heavy metal. And it's a very, very good album from them. I think it's their third record, so I'm going to be looking into their back catalog as well. This next band is not a new school band. This is an old school band. This is actually an old release that's finally been released on vinyl. And this is 6 Feet Under. I don't show a lot of death metal on my channel, and I know a lot of people hate this band. I see this is one of those bands like Metallica that people seem to love to hate, and I don't know why. I love 6 Feet Under, and especially this album. I personally think the first side of this thing is just pure brilliance. It's one of those albums that I pop on and I'm just playing air guitar to the entire time, singing along to the, you know, goofy lyrics. It's just old school death and grind, whatever you want to call it, you know, grunt and grind. I love this record, 6 Feet Under, and this really Metal Blade Records. I think this came out this past year on vinyl for the first time. I think I've never seen it on vinyl before. Actually says first time on vinyl right on the front there. 180 gram black vinyl, Metal Blade Original, 6 Feet Under, Warpath. Boys coming. One of my first 2017 pickups for the year. Gravedigger and Healed by Metal. This album is fantastic. This will make my... I mean, there would have to be some really good stuff released in 2017 for me to not have this on my top 30 list at the end of the year. It's fantastic. Straightforward, heavy metal. This is actually kind of goes back and harkens the days of early Gravedigger, you know, back before they were doing all the... you know, it's always been kind of themed albums and storylines. This is just all about the songwriting, all about the songs, all about metal. I mean, you got songs in here like Healed by Metal, Lawbreaker, 10 Commandments of Metal. I mean, metal. It's all about the metal, you know. And just like their early albums. So very good record from Gravedigger. The sound quality is phenomenal. Chris sounds as good as he ever has on vocals. Love that gravelly, charismatic style he has. Nobody kind of sounds like Chris, and I would butcher his last name, Boltonham, I believe it is. I love Gravedigger, one of my favorite bands, especially through the 90s. Nobody was putting out music like them in the 90s. Albums like Rheingold, phenomenal. And so is Healed by Metal. So there you go, Gravedigger. This is a single album in a gatefold, and there's 12 songs on here on a single album. Imagine that. And this next album is kind of the reason I said that. One of my favorite albums of 2016. I think it made number 2 in my list. Testament. Brotherhood of Snakes. Now, I do love this album. I have it on CD twice, 2 different versions of it, and I absolutely love this album, so I had to get it on vinyl before it disappeared. I didn't look at it at all. I just purchased it. What's up with a double vinyl and 2 songs on every side? That's ridiculous. This could have easily been a single, disc vinyl. At worst, make a side blank. I'd rather have that way than having to turn this. It's like having 2 singles. It's kind of ridiculous. Regardless, it's Testament. Love Testament. Fantastic thrash band, and I have most of their stuff on vinyl, so I couldn't ignore this one since I love it so much. Great stuff from 2016 from Testament, Brotherhood of the Snake. I suggest the CD over the vinyl just because you don't have to turn it over every 5 seconds. Cheers, VC. Sorry I'm talking fast and getting dry. I really have a bad cold, so. This was a Christmas gift from my awesome daughter. Motorhead, Clean Your Clock, last live album, probably the last official release from Motorhead. This is the last tour that Lemmy did before he passed away. And this is actually very cool packaging. I haven't seen a whole lot of people showing this on the VC. Considering how popular Motorhead is and how cool this packaging is. So it comes in this kind of slipcase cover. There we go, if I can get it out. And then the album is in a gatefold. It's actually 3 records in this gatefold. I'm sorry, 2 records in this gatefold. Where I got 3 records from. It comes with a download card, which I just nearly dropped. And then it has the pop-up Motorhead stage. Pretty cool. Now, sound quality is very good. I mean, you get a very good recording. However, you can hear in Lemmy's voice he's very tired. He just doesn't sound, like he has in the past. And it was pretty common knowledge, through this last tour he was canceling shows. He was having issues. It was pretty common knowledge he was sick during that tour quite a bit. And obviously he was sick because he had cancer and just didn't know it and passed away from it. So rest in peace, Lemmy. But regardless, wonderful album to have. Great testimony of a timeless classic band. Motorhead, Clean Your Clock. Thanks to my awesome daughter. This is one I picked up with one of the gift certificates, like I said. One I've never owned on vinyl. I've only owned this on CD, but I'm glad to finally have a copy of Cirith Ungol's 4th album, Paradise Lost, on vinyl. This is a Metal Blade reissue. If I get it out of the packaging, that'd be awesome. It is not a gatefold. Front and back cover. Comes with a huge poster of the album cover. Which is very, very cool. Also comes with this booklet, which I believe is like 16 pages, with photos, lyrics, all sorts of things to peruse as you're listening to the awesome music contained within. And then, of course, it's on just on black vinyl, custom centering, metal blade sleeve. Great album from a great band. Just one I've never owned on vinyl. And I think it was available on vinyl, but I just never owned it. So glad to finally get a copy of it. Glad it was reissued. Now this next one has never been issued on vinyl, and I actually was in the Kickstarter program for this album being released the first time. Matter of fact, I'm going to grab, excuse me for 1 second. This is Flotsam and Jetsam, Ugly Noise, on vinyl for the first time. Again, Metal Blade Records. But when this album was originally released a couple years ago, the band released it themselves and did a Kickstarter, and I was part of that Kickstarter, and they sent those who were part of that, you know, different rewards. But I went ahead and ordered the vinyl, the CD version that was autographed, and it wasn't very expensive. I think it was only like contributing like $20, or maybe it was even 15. And I love this album. I think it's a great record. It's creative, it's heavy, it's metal, it's got some thrash elements, but it's got some, it's not just speed for speed's sake. You know, they got creative with it. This is actually one of my favorite Flotsam and Jetsam albums, ranked up there with No Doomsday and you know, any of the early Flotsam albums. Of course, I am a self-proclaimed Flotsam fanatic, so Flots till death, right? Anyhow, regardless, glad to have this on vinyl. Very limited pressing from what I understand. I think I read it was limited to, it's around the front here, 350 copies worldwide, so this was going to be gone rather quickly. And it was available through Amazon for a while. I don't know if it still is or not. Flotsam and Jetsam, Ugly Noise, 2016, I think it was released in the end of 2016 on vinyl. Excuse me again. Cheers once again. Sorry, I'm dry. A couple gifts from my buddy Bill Bafford. Him and I trade back and forth stuff all the time. We don't even ask each other anymore. We just send stuff. So this is actually a Rocks release that I did some work on the artwork for. This is, I think they're a Swedish band. The Hero, straightforward modern metal, a bit of a gothic vibe, especially in the vocals. Kind of a Bowie-esque style vocal delivery. But it's just mostly, you know, heavy metal, straightforward heavy metal. Maybe a little more melodic than, say, you know, some of them more speedy bands that are out now. But very good album nonetheless. The band looks kind of cool in the photo. Rocks release, I believe it's available on vinyl and CD through the Rocks website if you're interested. Yeah, good album. The Hero, Miracles. As well, this one came from Bill as well. This is a 12-inch single for Barren Cross. Out of Time, from their third album from the I believe it was 1989. This came out. I don't know. I love Barren Cross. I've been a Barren Cross fanatic since their very first album, back when I was in college, back in the early '80s when Rock for the King came out. So this is very cool to have. These don't show up very often. So in the original Enigma sleeve with the Barren Cross sticker on it. And this will be the last one for this edition of Rock and Metal Update. This is one I have had for a long time. I'm not sure I ever showed it in a video, and if I did, I'm pretty sure I hadn't opened it yet. But this is Days of Purgatory, Iced Earth. 3 album set. This is all the early Iced Earth recordings, re-recorded, remixed, with Matthew Barlow on vocals. It is a gatefold. Let's see, I'm waiting to put this stuff down right there. Here's the gatefold. Like I said, it's a 3 album set. It's on black vinyl, custom center rings. But it also came with the poster of the classic cover artwork and a lyrics insert. The only thing I don't like about the packaging of this one is that they didn't make it there's nowhere to put the 3rd album. You have to put it in the center sleeve, or put 2 albums in one sleeve together, and I don't really care for that. But regardless, there's the poster of the album. Great stuff. I mean, another band that sustained me through the 90s. You know, when other bands were selling out the trends, Iced Earth stayed true to their power metal, U.S. power metal style, and they still have. You know, up to this day, they do what they do, and frankly, I like bands like that. Iced Earth were one of my favorite bands up there with Gravedigger, Hammerfall, you know, Nevermore. Those are the bands that kind of sustained me through what I call the musically depressed 1990s. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this edition of Rock Metal update. Hopefully next time you see me, I'll be feeling a little better and won't be so gunked up and won't be all crackly. But regardless, appreciate you all watching once again. Leave a comment below, thumbs up if you liked it. That's all. God bless. Stay strong.